Hey guys, this is the 5 pentatonic boxes. Now I want to show you how to absolutely thoroughly understand this lesson. And if you skip this, or if you don't feel you have the patience for this, then you will frankly never understand how the pentatonic really works. If there is a part that you don't understand, stop. Rewind, watch again, drop a comment, talk with the people in the YouTube comments in the community there, guys. It's really important that you do that. This is an important way to use YouTube. Use the comment section if you are stuck. Someone in there will have a way of explaining it, and if I am there, I will do my best to help you and answer those questions as well, guys. So we're going to get into caged, but we're also going to talk about how we get this thing that happens with minor pentatonic and how minor is the same as the major pentatonic depending on how you start to play the scale. So this is what we're going to get into today, but first what I need to do is I need to explain where did we pull these pentatonics from. Yeah, so we need to look at the major key and then how we derive the minor key, and then that's going to give us all the ingredients we need then to be able to say, right, okay, we know where we're pulling these notes from and how these scale patterns get built. But it also means that, yes, you are going to learn your 5 minor pentatonic patterns, but you are not going to have to learn another 5 patterns to be able to play your major. You just need a new way to see the major pentatonic, and that's what we're going to get into. And we're going to be pulling in a lot of cage theory as well. So let's crack on and start with C major. The reason we use C major is because it has no sharps or flats, which make it lovely and easy for us to see the notes and not start thinking, is there a half step between that? Is there a... Because if we know the musical alphabet, we know that between B and C we've got a half step, and between E and F we've got a half step. So we are golden. But the thing we need to write out here is that each of these notes has a specific function. The root, this is what the R means here, guys. This is the root note. So the root note for the C major scale, let me just put this as major there. So this is a full 7 note scale, is this? Yes. So pentatonic is actually a 5 note scale. So we're going to take these 7 notes here. We're going to discover the minor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to discover the pentatonics, how those are contained within this major and minor framework. So let's look. So we've got the C. That's the root note. So that's the home note. That's the ground zero for that scale. That's the starting point. Now you could think of that as note number 1, which it is. And then if that's the case, then this is going to be note number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then you will notice that we get back to C again, which we could think of as being our root note. But because we've gone up, look, for count up, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. We're going to call that the octave. Okay, so that octave there, that's just a repeat. But essentially what happens is we get these 7 notes here, and then the major scale starts again. Cool. Now, here's the thing that I want you to notice. I started with that root there. So in my mind, I'm thinking that's spelling out the scale formula for the major scale. And this is something that you would have to remember. So the major scale, the formula for that is going to be root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th. Now this applies to any key. You know, we have 12 keys that we can do this with. So not just C, this isn't just applicable to this. So there's 2 different ways we're looking at it. We're looking at it as the letter names, and then we're looking at it as the scale degrees here. So that's the difference between these, and they overlap on each other. Okay, so now we have the major scale and we've derived the formula there. What we want is the minor. So I'm going to put that there because we're going to fill this in a minute. To find the minor, what we do is we use exactly the same notes, guys. And what happens is we go up to the 6th degree. Now the 6th degree here, this is the starting point for the relative minor. We're not adding any notes, and I just want to show you, I'll put a circle around this. there, you can see that we get the A. Now, if I plot out the A minor scale, it's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we get back to A again. Now, what happens is, just like this C was the root note for the major, when we do this as the minor, we need a root note for this minor, so we'll put that there. That's going to give us the minor. Okay, so these two are the same thing there, guys. So the thing that happens here is that we get the same 7 degrees, and I'll just show you. So that's the root note for this minor, and then we get the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and a 7th. And then back here again, you can see what happens is we've gone from an A to an A. And if we count up 7, 8, then that's going to be an octave as well. So that is the same as the starting note. But here's the thing that is different. What we've got going on here in this major is a structure that goes step, step, half step, because remember E and F and B and C are next door to each other. We've got to remember that. E and F, and B and C, those are a half step. If you want to think about it in another way, it's 1 fret. So we've got that step, step, half step, 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 and then half step there. Now the same thing is going to happen here, but what it does, we operate on the idea that we are using these scale degrees, but what we do is we alter the scale degrees to show the distance from the root note. Let me show you what I mean here with the first one, and as I do it on here, I'll amend it up here. So the root to the 2nd here, we can see that is a whole step. Yeah, so this 2nd here is actually a major 2nd from the A there. Now, if you don't know about your intervals, then I'll put a link to a video up just here. There you go. You can click on that and find out more about that. And you can even see that here in the above diagram. You see there it says A to B. We can see that's a whole step. I'll just put that under there, the whole step. And we can see from B to C, we get a half step. Now, this is important, guys, because the distance between that root A note there and this C here is smaller. If we look at the C to the E, from the root 2nd, 3rd there, we get 2 steps. That is called a major 3rd. So let's just put this in here. I'm just going to put a little bit of a thing on intervals here, and we need to know this. So this is a string. These are fret wires. So if I have a note here and I go up 2 whole steps, this distance here is a major 3rd. Minor means less, so let's draw that string again, and let's have the same number of frets. We do that there, and we have the same starting note, but what we do is we just move 1 fret less. So instead of going a whole step and a whole step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a whole step and a half step. So you can see there, and that's what's going on here, guys. So this distance here, a whole step and a half step, this is going to give me a minor 3rd. Now, for the way of looking at it as a scale degree name, this would be a major 3rd. And because this major 3rd has been flattened, this gets called a flat 3rd. And that's the thing that I have to carry over here. So this gives me a flat 3rd there. So these major scale degrees, they are unaltered. And this is why this is the master scale formula, if you will. Anything else can be seen as being derived from those. So if we take a major scale and we alter the notes in that, we get other scales, and that's essentially what's going on here with this minor. We're using that major framework to explain the minor. Now, in between the C and the D there, we can see we get a full step. Let me just put these steps and half steps in here. The thing is that these scale degrees here, we are looking at the distance from the root to this scale degree. So the distance from the root to the C here is a minor 3rd, or a flat 3rd, aka. So then moving on to the next one, the distance between the A and the D is a 4th. And that's perfect, that's fine. We don't need to alter anything there. And then if we look at the distance between an A and an E, that is called a perfect 5th, and we just write 5th. No need to write perfect. We could write P in front of it, or we could write P in front of 4, in fact, for that matter, but we're just going to call it the 4th and the 5th. And then what happens is, because we've gone to this half step thing, it's pulled this 6th degree a half step down as well. So now the distance between the A and the F is a flat 6. Now let me add that to our scale formula here. You see we get the flat third, we've got that flat sixth there. Now, because that flat sixth has been altered, that means everything else has been pulled down as well, and we end up with a flat 7. Now, you can see here between the 7th and the octave there, we get a half step. Yes, but in the minor here, in this natural minor, we don't. We get a full step distance. So going from the flat 7 to the root of the minor scale there, we get that whole step, which allows us to pull it back in. It means that this flattening thing hasn't affected the root note there. So we've got this flat 7 goes there. You can see that we get 2 different scale formulas there, guys. We've got root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, which is a nice clean way to look at it. But this is where it gets tricky, because memorizing scale formulas, which is what you want to do, because these are your recipes. If the notes are your ingredients, the scale formulas are your recipes. The root, 2nd, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 6th, flat 7 are what you need to learn, because this is going to help you to understand and see and visualize intervals on the fretboard. And I'll get more into that when we start getting into the diagrams here as well, guys. Now, here's the thing with this. These are 7-note scales. The pentatonic, the penta, pent equals 5. And we've got tonic, tones, 5 tones. And I like the way that tones, if you swap the T and the N around, you get notes. So it gives us 5 notes, and that's what a pentatonic is. So it means that if we want to think about the major scale, we have to get rid of or omit some notes. Let's look at the major here. I'm just going to get straight to the point with what notes get omitted for this to become the major pentatonic, and why that's the sound that we want. The major pentatonic has a simpler sound than the major scale itself, the 7-note scale, because there's less complexity, there's less half steps. Wherever these half steps, these single frets come in, we introduce tension. The more notes you have in a chord or in a scale, the more complexity, the more tension you are inviting. I'll just put major pent, we know what that means. So we need to keep the root note, because without the root note we wouldn't know what the starting note is. In the major pentatonic we need to keep the 2nd. This is a major 2nd. Now without the 3rd defines the tonality of a scale, a chord or an arpeggio. So the 3rd is really important. You can see here we've got a major 3rd there and a minor 3rd. So if you want to think about it, if you have major chords, you can know off bat that the major 3rd is the 3rd that you're going to find in a major chord, and you can know that the minor 3rd is what you will find in a minor chord. And this is the difference here, and it's only 1 fret, which is amazing, the effect that 1 fret has on everything. But getting back to this 3rd, we need to keep that one there, guys. We need to keep that, because that's defining the tonality. So this one here, this is a starting note. This one is a major 2nd, which means it's a complementary note. We've got the 3rd, which is defining. Now the next one, the 4th, we get rid of it. We omit it completely. We don't need the 4th in the major pentatonic. But what we do have is we have the 5th. The really useful thing about this is that if we look here, we can see we've got the root, the 3rd and the 5th. We've got the triad hiding inside that major pentatonic. So we can use that to outline the sound of the underlying chord. If we're playing a major pentatonic over a major chord, then those chord tones are hiding in there as well. The next note we're going to get is this 6th. Now the 6th, that's going to give us some sort of expensive sort of sounds, and in fact the 2nd and the 6th are really nice sounds that you want to be able to add. But when it comes to the 7th, we get rid of that, and the reason is because in the major scale, the 7th here is the leading note, and you can see here this is the B to the C. This 7th here, what we're doing is we end up creating tension in that there. So really, I think if we get rid of that major 7, we're relieving some of that tension. If you want tension, play a major. If you want more of a chilled sound, then play this major pentatonic, because we've got rid of this 4th, which can clash against the root here, yes, and the 4th can clash against other notes. But really, you've got to be careful with the 4th, and you've got to be careful with 7ths. But that means that we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. And the scale formula that we end up with then for the major pentatonic is root, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th. And you can see there, that's the whole of the scale there that we would memorize major pentatonic. we can see that we've got the major, but we can also derive the minor from that. So let's do the same thing that we did here with this full 7-note major scale, and we'll do it with the minor. Now the thing is, because this minor is derived from this major here, this one is called the relative minor, yeah, because it's relative to the major. And you can flip it over and you can think to yourself, well, that's the relative major to the minor as well. So we're going to just call it the minor for now. And what we want is that scale formula that we had before with the scale degrees. So what we have now is the 7 notes of that minor scale, relative minor. It's also called the natural minor, and it's exactly the same formula for Aeolian, guys. You can kind of think about that because we have different names for the same thing. So in my mind, if somebody says natural minor, I think the same as relative minor, and I also think the same as the mode, which is Aeolian. They're all the same thing, really. They're spelt the same way. How we handle them with harmony can be different, and that's the thing. That's where it is different. So we've got the minor there. Now what we need to do is we need to pull this down into a minor pentatonic scale. And with the minor pentatonic, guess what? We still need that root note, because without the root note, we have no foundation. And in this scale, what we're going to do is, because the second here is so close to the flat third, that would give us that semitone. Look, we've got it there, a half step or 1 fret. So what we do is we get rid of the major second there, but we've got to keep the flat third, because just like the major pentatonic above, we have to keep that third to keep the tonality of the scale as well, just like we do with chords. But if we skip over here, actually, because of the distance between the flat third and the fourth, that has now become a whole step. We can keep the fourth in there. That's useful to know. Now, we need that fifth, because that fifth is going to help us to outline the triad again. Look, there's the root, there's the flat third, and the fifth. That's the triad spelling for the minor chord, or the minor triad. Now, one of the notes that we don't need here is, if we think about it, look at the fifth there and the flat sixth. Those are a half step apart. Look, fifth, flat sixth, half step apart. So what we're going to do is we get rid of that half step, and that removes a tension sound there. But the beautiful thing is, with this, we get this colour. We keep the flat 7 in there, because obviously we need 5 notes. By adding this here, we get an extended triad here. So we've got the root, flat third, fifth, and then we get the flat 7, and that spells a minor 7 chord. And how cool is that? Because we know that we can play a minor pentatonic pattern over any minor 7 chord. We could see we still get 5 notes there, guys. So the spelling of that ends up being minor pentatonic, and that is going to be root, flat third, fourth, fifth, and then the flat 7. We still just get 5 notes, but this becomes simpler. And the thing to know as well, I think, that is really, really useful around this is we are removing, with these pentatonics, these half-step clashes. So we end up with scale degrees that are consisting of major seconds and minor thirds. We don't have any half steps in these scales, and this is the thing that makes it so relaxed. Remember what I said, guys, these 7-note scales, these diatonic scales, 7 notes equals complexity, okay? And then 5 notes, however, removes complexity, and what that does is it chills things out. It gives you the chill sound that you might want in your phrasing, in the things that you are trying to say, because this is like a conversation, guys. If you imagine that you're using this for your improvisation, then this is a really good way to think about those scales and the way that they behave on top of the chords that you are playing. If you are putting all the notes in there, it's going to sound like you have a lot to say. If you're not putting as many notes in there, then it sounds like you are giving yourself more space to say what it is that you want to say. And I think it's this contrast that creates the interest in your phrasing. Right, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to jump over onto the next sheet here. I want to show you how this works with your minor and major, and how we have these same ingredients here. Remember, the notes are the same ingredients, the scale degrees are different, but the note values, they don't change, and how we organize them to be able to play 5 box patterns, guys. We've only got 5 pentatonic box patterns, whether you are in major or minor. And this is the critical thing I want to get across to you, and it's how you think about it and how you have to flip it. This is how we work it out, by looking at the notes and the scale degrees, but now we're going to put it into diagrams on the neck. So let's do that now.